Okay. Well, the prospect to give 2 speeches today wasn't very pleasant for me. Not that I have a specific aversion to speak in front of people. It's more about speaking with a language that is not my native tongue. I realized that language is really powerful, and the more I thought about it, the more I became conscious and aware that language is more than grammar, it's more than vocabulary, and it's more than the right pronunciation. One kind of language that we identified with Patrice was its ability to shape society, to shape our group dynamics. There were fellows who spoke English, fellows who spoke very passionately French, and there was another language that we developed and we didn't mention that shaped our group dynamics. It was the language that we created while we were here. I mean, let's think about who else would laugh about the words puppies or Marshall or shenanigans after the fellowship. It's a language that we created within our common experience, a language that, a common story that we told. Through our different sessions, it also became clear to us that speaking the same language was more than speaking English or French. It was also about how do we define peace, how do we define tolerance. What does this mean? Do we have the same understandings, a common base? In Germany, when we say speaking the same language or die gleiche Sprache sprechen, it does not mean speaking German. It does mean that we have a common understanding, and it also doesn't mean that we adopt different opinions, but it means that we embrace and acknowledge and try to understand different possibilities of interpretations. And thus, talking, for example, in dialogue, it's crucial for dialogue. When we start talking about peace, we first have to define what do I understand in peace and what do you understand of peace. And it's not about words, it's also about just the elements of communication, because we all know within the session with Brigitte, we learned another kind of language. We learned the language of the heart and the language of the eyes. And for me, it's a language that works without words, and it perfectly fits to a quote by Mark Twain. And he said, "Kindness is the language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see." Thanks for sharing this language with me.